My name is Scott Lee. I'm the Regional Environmental Coordinator for the DOT in the Southeastern region. So my office is located in Waukesha, Wisconsin. I have attended a few of these listening sessions in the past, and I always enjoy them. I always get something out of them.
Derek Weyer. I am the Tribal Liaison for the Wisconsin Department of Transportation out of the Northeast Region Office. That's out of Green Bay. I've been Tribal Liaison for the last 2 years, been with the department for 3.
My name is Danielle Yancey, and I work with statewide tribal affairs in the Wisconsin Department of Transportation.
Hi, I'm Andrew Malsom. I'm with Wisconsin DOT. I work out of the Waukesha office on Barstow Street. That's the Southeast region. I work with the environmental unit down there. I'm the Regional Tribal Liaison, and I also work on hazardous materials coordination.
Hi, my name is Kelly Hamilton. I'm the Director of the Museum Archaeology Program at the Wisconsin Historical Society. We offer field research services to other state and federal agencies, and occasionally we've worked with the tribes to look for archaeology sites, burial sites, and historic buildings and structures of concern that they like to have protected during transportation project development.
I am Roger Larson. The Wisconsin Department of Transportation employs me in 2 different capacities. I work out of the Southwest region, Madison, La Crosse offices. I am my primary duty is I'm the railroad coordinator for the region, which means I work for the Class 1 railroads, the DOTs, transit commissions, and with highways, railroad crossing safety issues. The tribal liaison position is my secondary job, which I have been doing for 4 years now.
Okay. My name is Cindy Stiles. I own my own company under my name. I'm an archaeologist, and my company is an archaeological consulting company. I also do historic preservation, data entry, file development, and training. And that's how I am involved in the listening sessions and with the tribes.
My name is Jeff Emerson. I'm a supervisor in the regions. I work in the Northwest region. We cover the northwest 20 counties of this state. I supervise staff who are folks who work with long-range planning, access issues within the region. Our tribal liaison works out of my unit. So we're working with the tribes on a lot of significant projects that we see coming in the future, as well as the day-to-day interactions with our tribal liaison.
My name is Rita Lara, and I am the director of the Oneida Nation Museum. As the museum director, we often receive questions regarding the land, our culture, and a variety of other aspects. So attending this has really helped me because I've gained a better understanding and appreciation for the TIPOs and what they do and the interaction with the Department of Transportation.
I'm Sean Spromberg. I'm a project manager with Becker Hoppe Engineers out of Wausau, and primarily work with Wisconsin Department of Transportation and local municipalities throughout northern Wisconsin on roadway infrastructure projects, roads, bridges, retaining walls.
Sure. Up until the first time that I had attended a listening session, the only time I had ever been introduced to tribal relations was the First Nations study that I took in college for a college credit. And I became tribal liaison the month before the August listening session. And showing up, I really had no idea what to expect. And just that first experience and my first cultural exchange and seeing that people actually cared what my story was really gave me a sense of relief. And since then, the tribal liaison experience has been absolutely amazing.
It's our responsibility as liaisons and my counterparts' responsibility to develop relationships with Wisconsin's 11 federally recognized tribes, and coming to events like the listening session. This is my second one. I was at one earlier this year. It's just what we need to foster those types of relationships, build that trust, and to have a collaborative relationship with Wisconsin's tribes.
These venues are really the incipient beginning, the incipient stages of what can happen, whether it be utilities, real estate, engineering firms, private consultants, and even if 1 or 2 snippets are acquired and brought home with you back to your office, the importance of the burning or the using of herbicides to destroy plants that others are sensitive to.
This is actually my second listening session, and the reason why I participate is because our role in the statewide tribal affairs program is to oversee all of our tribal initiatives, partnerships, and programs. And so the listening session is a product of our Tribal Historic Preservation Listening Project. Tribal Historic Preservation Project. So this is a forum where we provide training to tribal representatives, DOT staff, and private industry on issues related to cultural resources and historic preservation.
One of the main reasons I try to come to these is to try to get a better understanding of the perspective of the tribal governments and just the people that we're dealing with doing our work. Yesterday was a great example. We did the walk along the Butamore Bridge, where there was the enhancement project done with each tribe in the state has I'll call it a monument, a plaque out there describing what they're doing, what the tribe is about, some of the history of the tribe. But I had a chance to talk with a few of the tribal historic preservation officers as we were walking. And to me, that's the most valuable thing that I get out of these. It's the interaction. So I have a better understanding about what's really important with each individual tribe, with each individual situation, because we can't make blanket policy per se that because each individual tribe has sovereignty and each individual tribe has their own perspective. And they're the experts in their tribal lands as to what's important and what isn't. And if we don't have that interaction, we're not going to find out what's really important.
Well, one thing I really kind of opened my eyes today were some of the comments that had to do with particular species of plants and animals that are significant to the tribes. And the fact that I don't think there's anything in NEPA or in the DNR's databases or even on our awareness radar that talks to that. You know, NEPA and our DOT regulations, I don't believe that they're very sensitive to those kinds of things, and I think that's an area where we can really try to improve, because I don't think we have much of an awareness at all about what species of plants are more appropriate to plant on roadsides, which species of plants are critical to protect. They may not be endangered or threatened species. There may be a whole new category of plants and animals that we need to look at. So I thought that was really an important conversation today, and it sounded like they're going to kind of take that to another level, which is really great.
The opportunity, when you come to the listening sessions, your opportunity of having not only the structured conversations in an actual session meeting format, but also the opportunity for casual conversations in hallways, over meals, maybe after the session is done for the day. It's a wonderful opportunity to talk about specific issues to a person or perhaps to a tribe, or perhaps just talk about family and reach casual connections, personal connections, to help build a feeling of trust and accessibility. So any individual feels they can call, and they can call you with a question or with a concern, and they feel you will honestly try to help. I also feel I can now reach out to some of the individuals I've met even today and just say, hi, we had a chat in a hallway. You know, I now have a question about something we may have found or we've heard about up in your area. Could we set up a time when I could just come by and we could chat? So I think it brings everyone together, but also makes us more accessible in future conversations, because that's half of the challenge. My state agency's mission is the history of Wisconsin, but it's supposed to be an inclusive history, everybody's history.
Starting in 2009, we began construction of the Lake Butamore Causeway. We coordinated with the DNR to actually fill in what is considered pristine water. And normally when you do that, you have to come up with a mitigation site. One of the mitigation proposals was to actually include a multimodal trail on one side of the causeway, connecting the Waiawash Trail from the north side to the south side, something that up until that point had only been thought of. Now through that process and realizing the tribal significance to the causeway, we actually coordinated with all 11 tribes, and the tribes were given the opportunity to create kiosks to showcase their tribes, the history and the background from it. And those were actually on October 12th, we had the opening ceremony for that causeway. Back in 2000, the department actually did an environmental document knowing that the Butte-des-Morts Causeway was going to be insufficient for upcoming traffic demand. So by doing that, we actually started the construction process almost 20 years ago. And finally, in 2009, we began the construction. And finally, yesterday, we got to take the first known field trip out to the actual causeway and showing people what they've actually invested in. And it's a great opportunity. The DNR has been on board, and all tribes have been on board. The one significant thing I could say is we actually cared so much about the tribal significance in the area that there was a sturgeon blessing done before actually dynamiting of the piers.
Program that WSDOT is really good about bringing people together, but I think that's what these listening sessions do. It gives people a chance that to work with people that they haven't been able to work with before, and the listening sessions for me are a way to see how some of this stuff is integrated, and I can use that partly in my training sessions, but mostly in my work that I do as an archaeologist. And I do some WSDOT programs or a WSDOT project, and so it's nice for me to be able to see how this interaction goes. And so I think these listening sessions are very important to do that, for nothing else but just to bring people together on a one-to-one, and for people to put faces to names and to be able to talk individually with people. I think it's a very important thing that these listening sessions do. And the topics that are brought up are different each time too, and I learn a lot from the topics as well. So.
Another component that I think was very important for myself is I've always had a respect for the TIPOs, but I really didn't have an understanding of the vast projects and challenges that they encounter, and that their positive attitudes on working to make sure that the tribes are represented effectively, and also understanding that the DOT has the tribal liaisons that work hand in hand with them, I think is really important.
I would really encourage WSDOT staff as well as tribal leaders, staff members from the tribal departments to get involved with these, because as I said earlier, it's all built on relationship and understanding what tribal needs are and what our department needs are, and trying to mesh those. And if we're not coming to these meetings, if we're not getting that interaction, we're not gaining ground. So I just encourage my counterparts, people higher in the food chain, people lower in the food chain, as well as everybody from the tribal side of things, the decision makers, the influencers in those communities, to be involved. That's the way we move the ball forward.
Well, I think one of the great components of the listening session is that it goes beyond federal or state or tribal codes and laws. So it actually creates a context for why are these things important, why do we need to protect them, and where does a lot of the value and passion for these issues comes from within a tribal perspective. And so I think that by bringing in speakers, other cultural elements and components, I think help to create that backstory. I think someone who hasn't worked with a tribal community before, may not fully understand why these issues are so important, or why there's such strong advocacy to protect these sacred sites or historic places. And so I think trying to create that bridge and understanding and bringing down some of those barriers goes a long way for collaboration and making project delivery more efficient.
I've been with the DOT about 10 years, and I think I've been involved peripherally with the tribes for maybe 5 or 7 years. And it has spurred me to do more personal research on the relationships between Native Americans and the whole European population. And it led me down a lot of really interesting roads. I've read a lot of different books. I've got a teepee in my backyard, for crying out loud. It's a big, huge teepee that I sewed up by myself because I just got obsessed about just the whole beauty of a teepee. And I like to camp, I like to hunt, I'm a traditional bow hunter. And so I just went down that road. And my wife has Cherokee ties, so there's a number of different avenues that I've, kind of been incentivized to just go down.
I've been in this role for just about 2 years now, and it's these types of annual events, the Tribal Transportation Conference, and even our monthly meetings where we get to sit across the table from one another and discuss projects that we're working on. We get to break bread with our counterparts. It's all very important to developing relationships.
You have engineers and designers who are learning to consider more things in their design. It's not simply concrete and steel. You know, trying to make that straight line road because that's the cheapest one can build. They're having to get, perhaps you might think of it as more of a touchy-feely side to their design process. Archaeologists are also becoming far more sensitized as a profession to understanding the needs and the beliefs of others and to take those into consideration, because we are a science, but we're also a cultural science, and so we have to always remember, never forget you're dealing with people.
Personally, this definitely provides a window for me into the world of the natives, something that, you know, otherwise I've only seen on TV or you hear through conversations. This is firsthand. I'm seeing this is part of their culture. This is what they do. Dancing it provided a unique opportunity to interact with them. That, you know, and that was because of these listening sessions. Otherwise, I might not have this opportunity.
The greatest thing about the listening sessions is the opportunity to meet people on a personal level. You have to develop a personal relationship with somebody before you can have a professional relationship, in my honest opinion. And by doing that at a laid-back environment like this, and you know you're both there for a specific reason, it really opens the doors to unbelievable conversations and just knowing somebody at a different level.
The importance of the listening session and hearing from a variety of presenters and the various topics was very important. A key component too, though, is the networking, because afterwards it gave everybody an opportunity to just mingle and get a better understanding of one another's jobs and responsibilities, and just talk one-on-one and creating those bonds. I also enjoyed the cultural exchange. I thought that was really neat, and I hope to implement that in some of the things that I do in the future.